Hello and welcome to session 3. We are discussing perspectives about working with young children and young athletes. A coach has multiple responsibilities while working with young athletes, right from coaching them, making them learn the technical skills, and also molding them into good sports persons. Young players have to be guided at all points of time, and the coach holds a very great responsible role in doing this. To understand how to work with young athletes and young players, we have Ms. Jaivanti here, who's a very well-known sports personality and also a very famous coach, Ms. Jaivanti Sham here. Yeah. She's a former international basketball player, having a lot of credentials to her credit. She has captained the Indian team and also has been part of the Indian basketball team for more than a decade. She's also been a part of the Karnataka state basketball team for over 2 decades, captaining the team on many occasions and taking the team to victory and many medals at the podium. Transitioning her career from a sportswoman, she is now moved on to the coaching area. As a coach, she has very great credentials. She's also been the coach of the Indian national team. And right now, she's also the coach of the Karnataka state basketball team. She's been coaching the team, state team, on many occasions in national events and also in All India tournaments. And she has produced some of great basketball players. And currently, she is the coach of a premier basketball club here in Bangalore. And she's been doing this for more than over 2 decades, producing players and making them hone their skills to a great extent. So, for all her contribution to the field of sport, the government of Karnataka has bestowed her many awards and many medals. She's received the prestigious Ekalavya Award. She has the Rajotsava Award, the Dasara Award, the SWAB Award, and many other state awards. So we are going to hear it from her about how she works with athletes and sports people and young players. And we'll try to understand what are the challenges and what it needs to have as a coach to work with them. So thank you, Jaivanti, for being here. I welcome you for this discussion. So my very first question is, you have very wide exposure to working as a coach with young players, right? So we're looking at you work with the players 11 to about 16 years and even the senior age group.
Yes.
So what kind of a coaching style is needed with young people, right?
The younger ones, basically, first round, we only concentrate on skills and fundamentals.
Okay.
And then their mental
Basics.
strength and the basics.
Right.
Because we are grooming them for the future.
Right.
So there's a lot of where we have to tell them that they come with a lot of dreams. So we have to show them the way. So the only way which we can tell them is start with a proper grounding with the fundamentals.
Right.
Then they go on to the higher level,
Right.
which is always followed up with.
Right. Yeah. So the coaching style is more like, you also have to assume like a parent role also, or in addition to, because some of them are so young at the age of 12 and 13.
Yes, for me, I do, because I not only communicate with the parents, I communicate with the child.
Right.
And then I do a lot of counseling to the younger children.
Yeah, that's required. Yeah.
Yes, I always see that they come on to the court with a good frame of mind. And then for me, I check after the game, before the game.
Right.
And whatever fundamentals, and then they'll have a lot of questions to ask.
Right.
And so I make it a point to answer those questions.
Right.
So that it's clear for them.
Right. So like you're doubling up or tripling up the role, right?
Oh, yes.
Like a coach, like a mentor, even a parent. I think your responsibility even doesn't end even after they reach home.
No,
right?
no, definitely. I see that they reach home also. We have a group, luckily because of the cell phones.
Right.
And I do check up they've reached home and then everything else.
Right.
And sometimes I even tell the parents what to give them, the food,
right,
the nutrition and everything.
Right. So it's like a very holistic approach what you use when you work as a coach.
And a family kind of approach.
Yeah, that's true. In all areas that
and at the same time, I'm very strict about whatever I tell them.
Right.
So that they understand.
Right.
You want to make it to a level,
right,
you have to follow certain things, what your mentor or coach tells.
Yeah. I mean, you can't take it easy, right? You need to work hard.
No, I can't take it. If I want a level, I can't take it easy.
Yeah. So like, when you work with the older age group, the requirements are different. And when you work with younger athletes, it's more like investment is more, right?
Definitely.
You invest a lot. You invest
because they are our future.
Right.
So, and also they come with, they think there is a short way shortcut to success.
Yeah.
Some are very broad-minded. They take
Right.
their time.
Right.
So you have to explain both kinds to those kids, and reality is something else.
Right.
Watching is something else.
Right.
Doing is something else.
Right.
Right.
In this age of young players, right, they have many things available to them, unlike the yesteryears, when we played. What can be done to motivate them, right?
I feel that with these younger players,
Right.
we have to show them that academics is important,
Right.
but because the parents are forcing them,
Right,
pressurizing.
right.
But I have to tell them that it doesn't matter. Academics, when you're younger,
Right.
is not that important.
Right.
You can go about with your homework.
Right.
Don't expect the marks you want.
Right.
Somewhere you will do it.
Right.
When it's the final exam, concentrate.
Right.
I believe in telling
That's
them
what
that
we also
all
did,
through
right?
the year.
That's what we also did, yeah.
I always tell them, oh, just wait till the final exam. Midterm, don't bother.
Yeah.
Just play
Right.
your heart out.
Right.
Because in the younger level, if you don't get your breakthrough,
Right.
again it's cause for disappointment.
Right. Right.
So that is very important.
Right. I know.
Getting the breakthrough.
Right.
And when you get the breakthrough, how you continue with it,
Right.
and how you give value to it,
Right.
and go all out.
Yeah. So in addition to this, like I think you also use give them a lot of feedback, right, about their performance, about how they played.
Yes,
etc.
definitely.
Yeah.
After every match, after every session.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I do keep quiet because
Right.
I say this girl has time
Right.
to improve.
Right.
But then if that child I know has the capacity,
Right.
I pile on them and I, see that they come to a certain level. That
Right.
is my gut instinct as a coach.
Right.
I may go wrong sometimes.
Right.
But then again, any time for children, skill development, fundamentals, and continuity.
Right. Yeah, that's
It's
very
very important.
Yeah.
And consistency.
right. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So, how do you keep? You work with the mini age group, then you work with the sub junior levels also. How do you keep all these teams together? Do you have children coming from different backgrounds,
Yes.
different schools, and how do you keep
So-
them together? Do you have any mantra or something?
Oh, yes, I do have. The reason why nobody leaves me, of
Yeah.
course, for my club, let me tell you frankly,
yeah.
I have children who play from the past 17 years.
Right.
From the time they were a 10-year-old till they're 29 years, they have never left me.
Right.
And there is a reason for it, because what I do is, other than be strict on the court, off the court, I'm very friendly with them.
Right.
I check out their problems. If they have any issues at home, I mean, I'm not a counselor.
Yeah.
But casually, and then
Yeah.
I'll say, why are you
Because
dull
the coach
today?
actually has to double up, right? Because
Yes, definitely.
besides the home, most of the time they spend with you, right? Morning practice,
Definitely.
evening. So you have
I
having
do,
that
and
role,
I
yeah.
do, and I guide them the
Right.
right way.
Right.
I tell them there is always ups and down in everybody's life, because
Right.
sometimes peer pressure, sometimes what is happening at home,
Right.
nobody is going to know.
Yeah.
Each child goes in a
Yeah.
different way, and we
Right.
don't know. So I'm little compassionate like that with the younger kids.
Right.
And then I always help them out. If I
Okay.
have a girl who comes from a lower income,
Right.
if I have somebody from a higher income, and if they're going somewhere the same way and they live in the same area, I request the older one to drop her
Right.
so that she can come for practice easily.
Yeah.
There are so many
So
things.
you're developing that camaraderie,
Yes, and
the
teamwork, which is very, very important
Right.
for basketball.
Basketball
especially.
is,
yes. So everybody is special in their own way.
Right.
And then I always have this concept: each child has something good in them,
Right.
and there is a weakness too.
Right.
So we have to work on the weakness, but the good part has to be exploited on the court.
Right.
So
So in a team, you have what you said, right? Do you have some players who are genetically they're very good. They have a good jump.
Yes,
They are very
yes,
good.
yes.
And you also have certain players who are, taking time to develop. So
Right.
how do you work with these people who are
So
like
this
still
is what
slow
it is.
learners and all?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what it is. There are some who are talented.
Right.
So some who are hardworking.
Right.
So what happens? The talented, they don't practice much, but
Right.
it's natural.
Correct.
Then you have the hard workers who practice hard.
Right.
But I believe in the hard workers because somewhere they will peak.
Right. Yeah. They always
They will
say, right?
peak.
Practice makes
Right.
perfect. Yeah.
So they will peak somewhere, and I keep telling them this will happen, this will happen, and then
I mean,
before
your time will come, or
yes,
yeah.
before you know, the talented one may go backward, and this hard worker will
Yeah. Yeah.
go through.
Yeah. So it's a talent plus hard
yes,
work.
hard work.
Yeah. That's
It
true.
It
Yeah.
makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. So in this age group, we also have a lot of parental involvement, right?
Yes.
Because they are the younger lot,
Yes,
and
yes,
you know,
yes,
like
yes.
what kind of support do the parents give them?
See, parents make a major thing about this,
Right.
because if I have a practice session at 6, or I have a practice session evening 7 or something,
right.
and if I tell the parent, get her, if they don't get her there, then
Right.
what is the use?
I know.
So what happens is, if the parent have other issues and they can't reach them there,
Right.
there itself we are going backward.
Yeah.
And finally, the parent has to have a good relationship with the child, where they can bring the child.
Right.
And then sometimes the child will be stubborn.
Right.
Again, the parent has to motivate them and
Right.
tell them the reality of life,
Right.
and say, this is how it is.
Right.
You have it in you. Other than me telling.
Yeah, I know.
And what I do, without the child knowing, I communicate.
Yeah.
I'll say,
Certain
why is
things-
this happening?
Right,
Then
I
the
know.
parent will explain. As
Okay.
soon as she explains, we plan.
Both
How we are
in-
going, without the child knowing,
yeah.
how we can do
Help the
certain.
child, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we do it.
Okay.
I do a lot of that,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is really.
And then, like, I know that the parents help a lot and they play a great role. But what are the challenges working with parents? Like, sometimes, you know, they're like more
no.
ambitious and all that.
They're over ambitious, some of them.
Right.
And then I tell them, take it one day at a time.
Right.
It'll happen.
Right.
But then they're so over ambitious, they listen to other people.
Mm.
And then I tell them, okay, there is a limit to everything.
Right.
So I do guide them and I tell them, but if after a point,
Yeah.
they are not understandable, then yet again it's left to them.
I know.
It's like
Yeah, I know.
they are spoiling.
Do they get involved in the game? Like, you know, like
Some parents get involved,
because
and then-
I see that many of them accompany the children to the matches. So do they
So
get involved?
I've been very unfortunate. Maybe 1:50 of them, the parent gets involved in the game.
Right, okay.
But I have parents
Okay.
where, they get the food, they get the, all snacks, they get all
everything,
kinds
yeah.
of energy
and they get it
bars,
for the entire team.
team. So
which we
I'm
didn't
very
have,
lucky,
right?
which we
like
didn't
the
have.
days we played, no parent came to watch us.
Nobody knew
Yeah,
what we
were
were doing.
Yeah,
So
but we still
these-
did well.
We did. That's why I suppose we did well.
Yeah,
Let me tell
I
you.
know,
These are
I
little
know.
spoiled.
Yeah.
So, but then luckily, I insist. If they
Right.
get only for one girl, no, I'm not happy. I tell them, get for everybody.
Right.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, I
So
know.
that, it may help.
Right.
Of course, some may refuse.
Right.
But yet again, so the parents, other than that part, nutrition and everything, what, they get and help out.
Yeah.
They have this where they say, it's okay, my daughter didn't play well today, tomorrow she'll play better.
Right.
Accept it.
Yeah.
And they help out in all the, they'll get the water, they'll get
Yeah,
everything,
I
they'll
know.
tell
All the
children,
support system.
ma'am, everything. And they
Yeah.
get them on time.
Right. So that's a
And,
great.
getting them much before the match on time
Is a very important
very
thing,
important
thing. Yeah.
because they all live far off nowadays.
Yeah. And also in today's world and today's era, everybody knows that along with sports you need to be educated. So that is also a problem for
Yes,
you. I
yes.
think. How do you deal with that? Like suppose you have matches and there are tests and everything
Yeah.
going on. How do you work around that?
So what happens is I tell the parents beforehand, please
Right.
go take
Permission.
Some schools may not. Then I tell them, insist.
Right.
Make them understand
Right.
how important sports is, how important for the child it is,
Right.
for her development,
Right.
for her future.
Right.
So then they do the groundwork. Like
Right.
I said, some parents are very good.
Yeah.
One or two. And then when they lose out on that particular tournament, the next tournament they come back. They realize.
Right.
So that also is good.
Right.
Sometimes you can't help it. Both the parents are working. They have no time. So the child is very good. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. The support system is not
Is
there. to
not
help
that
them.
much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in today's era, like, where children have access to internet, YouTube channels where there's everything is there, right? Like, so how does it pose a challenge to a coach? Like, suppose you show a particular drill and then do you have any instance where a child has said, I've seen it on YouTube?
Yeah, it does. But the funniest part is in India, we do the same drills
Right.
indirectly. What
Right.
is happening in YouTube?
Right.
Only thing is our infrastructure.
Structure.
We don't have indoor courts.
Right.
We do it outside.
Right.
And so you feel that you're not doing that,
Right.
but we're doing the same,
Same thing, yeah.
But the energy is much lesser.
Right.
But when you play outside, you're exposed to the highest level of tough game.
Right.
Because when you play in an indoor court, you're mollycoddled. You're playing in an indoor court. So when you
Yeah.
come out to play an outside match,
yeah.
your body won't move.
Yeah.
So vice versa.
Yeah.
So I prefer outdoor.
So what you're trying
I'm a
to say
very
is
old school of thought.
Yeah. So you're saying is like when you watch YouTubes, it's like when it is in an indoor and when it is shown that way.
Lot of difference.
There's a lot of difference.
Lot
to
of difference.
Yeah, which the players have to.
We are doing the same thing.
Right.
Lot of difference, but
yeah, I know.
So like I said, but I prefer because I make my girls tough.
Right.
When I play outside.
Yeah, that's true.
So when they play indoor, they give a better game because they're getting a good court and there.
Yeah.
Of course, everywhere, if they do the same thing, indoor courts everywhere,
right,
then we can follow
we
the
can
same
follow
thing.
that. Okay. So one of my last questions to you is, what are the typical challenges a coach face, working with young people, right? Have you any instance you've had where, a child has been challenging to you and you have tried to work and help the child or anything?
Lot of challenges because, I always have a big headache because 4 players will be of the same level.
Right.
And then what happens is 3 make it and that one child
right.
whom I felt has done very well and she gets dropped.
Right.
So that is one of the major challenges because the child cannot understand why she's dropped.
Yeah. And they get disappointed.
She knows and she's disappointed. You're all the time counseling and saying, no, it happened. You'll get the next time. But yet again, peer pressure, friends pressure.
Right.
They
seeing
want
the others
them, go to the thing.
Right.
All that and it's very, very tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all the time facing it. Because my bad luck, I have 4-5 players of the same level.
Same level, yeah. I know.
So, these are the small things.
Yeah. So, thank you, Jai, so much for sharing your perspectives
Thank
about...
you. Let me tell because it's so important for kids.
The learning from you as a coach about what it is to deal with young players is very important, right?
Yes. And
because in theory, we learn something else.
Right.
In practical, it is something else.
For us, it's for me, it is both as a counselor and as a mentor and as a coach.
Yeah, right.
As a coach, I'm ruthless with the girls.
Right.
And as a mentor, I guide them.
Right.
And as a counselor, I make them feel special.
Right. So you know how to... you know where to be hard and where to be soft.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah. So. Thank you so much, Jai.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello everyone and welcome to this session. Significant people who form the inner circle of a sports person is the coaches, the parent, the mentors, the peers and their teammates. Parents form the backbone for the development and grooming of athletes. Right from introducing them to the sports, taking them for practice, taking care of their nutrition, accompanying them for their matches, providing the support and encouragement, the parents do it all and try to leave no stone unturned. In this session, we are talking about working with young athletes and we are looking at the parental involvement and all the challenges and all the effort that parents put in working with their young wards. We have here Mrs. Vaishnavi Reddy.
Hello.
Mother of 2 talented young basketball players. Older daughter Niharika is a junior international and also the current member of the state team. Her younger daughter Nilaya is a club level player who is knocking on the doors of the state team. Welcome so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for all your time. Okay. So as parents of 2 girls in the sports, this is my first question to you. Are you goal driven, or do you set goals for your kids or do they set their own goals?
I have my own goals in my head.
Okay.
But my girls set their own goals.
Okay.
And I'm just a driving force behind them.
Okay. So you're providing all the support.
Yes.
And everything.
Yes.
Right. But what your children would, expect them to achieve or you're looking at something for them, right? In your mind,
I mean, yes, the end goal is to play for your country.
Right.
But there are little steps that you take before you reach there.
Right.
And even with Niharika, it wasn't a very, it was a tough journey.
Right, I know.
For her.
Yeah.
And Nilaya, my younger daughter, is also taking little baby steps.
Right, to get there. Yeah.
Under their mentor and coach, Jayavanti.
Right.
So, who's an ex-Indian player.
Right.
And so, I have these small goals, which I tell them.
Right.
And which they also strive to accomplish.
How do they receive it? When you tell them that, you need to work towards this or, you need to set a goal. I mean, you'll be guiding them, right?
I will.
Yeah.
I just put it across in a way saying, I think you can do it like this, which makes it better.
Right.
Because you know how young children are.
Yeah.
Teens.
Yeah.
With their mood swings and everything. So you have to be a very little careful
about
as to
how you put it across to them.
Yes.
I know. So you have two girls, playing at different levels. Like one
Mm-hmm.
is at the Indian team, and the other one is just upcoming, and
Right.
looking at her older
Yes,
sister to
yes.
make it right. How do you deal with it as a parent? Like the two differing levels of accomplishments, right, at this level. So how do you like deal with it? How
See,
difficult is it?
I only actually feel bad for Nilaya because she has big shoes to fill.
Okay, right. I know,
With
right.
Niharika playing at
Yeah.
such a level.
Right. You have an older sister who's, accomplished many things, right? So,
Yes.
yes.
So, but Nilaya is she's very like driven
Right.
in her own way.
Right.
I mean, she does take cues from her older sister,
Right.
but she knows what she wants.
Right. I know. It's also tough when both are in the same sport, right?
Yes.
Like, because I have two daughters and the older one followed suit like me and my husband, and she played basketball. I think
Right.
my younger one, over a course of time, I think, realized what it is to play for a team, and she went into an individual sport, right?
Tennis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, tennis, yeah.
Yes.
So, these kind of things are also in play in young children. Does your younger one have a passion for any other sport, or it's just basketball?
It's right now it's only basketball.
Okay, okay.
So she loves it.
Right.
And she's very happy playing at school level and club level. And,
I know, right.
And for me as a mother,
Right.
it gives me immense joy to watch them both play on the same team.
I know, right?
On the same court.
Yeah. I had this once, like both my older one and younger one played together.
Together.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes. So, and it was so nice.
Yes.
Like both of them passing to each other.
Right.
And, yeah. So it was
And they both play different positions.
right. So there's no clash.
There is no clash and there is no comparison.
Right.
My younger one is fast and Niharika's fundamentals are very good.
Right.
So in that way, it's okay. They both sorted.
Yeah. It's like a balanced kind
And she
of.
does look to her older sister for advice.
Right.
She talks to her about a lot of things.
Right. That's
Which-
good, right?
which is nice.
Yeah. Because we only talk about camaraderie in friends, right?
Yes.
That is required even in siblings.
Siblings,
Yeah,
absolutely. It
I
starts
know.
at home.
Yeah, everything starts at home.
Yes.
You're very right. Yeah. So, what are the challenges you face as a sports parent, right? I mean, you're doing so many things, right? I just explained now that you're trying to leave no stone unturned. So, what are the challenges
The
and what
challenges,
problems?
I just, feel bad for them because they have so much schoolwork to complete.
Right.
They have assignments, projects.
Right.
My younger one is in the 10th grade.
Right.
So, there's a lot of workload.
Right.
But she somehow manages it and goes for her club practice, school practice.
Right.
And with Niharika, she's in college. She also has exams. She has
Right.
projects. She has so much work to do. And then with the national games camp that she's
Yeah.
going to right now, and
Right.
she's got her club practice, college
Right.
practice.
Yeah, juggling.
She has to juggle a
yeah,
lot.
juggle. Yeah, but like as parents, I think we provide everything, right? Logistics, support, nutrition, everything. So how do you,
Logistics is the hardest.
yeah, it's the hard, especially with the we have to commute from one end to the other,
Yes, yes.
and that's kind of quite challenging. Yeah,
Like from where we live, the stadium is very far.
right. Yeah, I know.
So, and school is very far.
Yeah,
So
I
the-
experienced that also as a player, right? I had to
Right.
travel everywhere. Everything was far.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. But I also realized one thing: when you live far, you're always on time.
Yes.
Or you're way ahead of time.
So both my girls love being on time.
Yeah, I know.
So they leave well ahead.
Right.
They're like, we'd rather be there 10 minutes earlier
Right.
than late.
Land late. Yeah, I know. That's right. So I see you regularly at all the basketball matches,
Yes.
and how is it to see your kids play, right? I mean, let's take both of them separately, right? I mean, Niharika playing. How do you feel when you watch your child play? What goes on inside? And
I'm nervous.
okay, I do see that.
Yeah, I'm pacing up and down.
Right.
I enjoy watching their matches.
Right.
I learnt basketball over these 5 years.
Right.
Because I had no clue.
Right.
And like now I'm very well versed and I know everything.
Right.
But yeah, it's a moment of feeling nervous and
Right.
feeling elated.
Right. I know.
Right?
Right.
And there was this one time when both of them played the same match together.
Right. I've also seen a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just I can't even explain the feeling.
I know, right? Yeah. So, I mean, like you're just processing everything.
Right.
Like, you're not looking at results or anything.
No.
You're just processing.
Yes.
You have both your girls and, watching.
Of course, I want them to do well.
Right. Yeah.
I want our teams to win.
Right.
But sometimes even when you lose, it's a learning curve.
Right.
You learn from your failures.
Right. I know. And how do you take it? Like, suppose you are there, and then you're a sportswoman or a sports person. Your performance fluctuates on a day-to-day
Yes.
basis. You have good days, you have bad days.
Right.
How do you deal with it when it's a good day, and how do you deal with it when you don't have a very good day? I know that Niharika has got a very consistent performance, but there are some times where she doesn't play up to the level where she's. How do you deal with it? Like,
Actually, I don't have to deal with it because she herself understands and she
Right.
tells me,
Right.
today was not my best day. I
Right.
could have done this better.
right,
So what I do is I get somebody to come and record the matches
okay,
and the girls watch them.
okay. So replay after the match.
Replay and
Yeah.
they see where they've gone wrong.
Right,
Like even with Nilaya, she knows. She's
Right.
like, I know I played very badly today.
right.
I'll do better next time.
Yeah. But this is a very interesting thing that you're recording her matches, right? And then
Yes.
they can see what it is and improve, and also do an analysis about what went wrong. Sometimes even when the coach is telling you, you don't realize.
You don't realize.
Yeah.
So I watch the match too on
Right.
replay.
Right.
And I tell the girls, you could have done this differently. You could have done this better.
Right.
And actually, they know.
Right.
So I don't have to push them too much.
Right.
And they're very, very focused on their fitness. They don't want to, become unfit.
Right. I know.
When there is an off season,
Yeah.
they work out with their trainer.
Right.
And
Yeah, I know. I think there's no shortcut to success, right?
No,
I
there's
mean,
no
you have to, and in today's sport, which is so competitive,
Yes.
it's more like basketball is more of a physical game than what the
Absolutely.
days we played, right?
Absolutely.
Body,
Yes.
body use of body is
Yes.
more. So if you want to take that down, then you need to be fit all the time, right?
no, injury is a part and
Yeah.
parcel of any game. But,
Right.
as a parent, I'm so scared.
I know, right? I can
With
understand.
basketball, it's your ankle, which Niharika had a ligament tear,
I know, right?
your
Yeah.
ACL.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful and you have to be fit
Yeah,
to
it has
avoid
to be,
those
yeah.
injuries.
I know what it is because my daughter had a ACL. So
Oh, no.
yeah, it's very challenging, and it
Yes.
is mentally and emotionally very, very exhausting.
Draining.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't know how to deal with it because you don't know how to, help the child. So
Yes.
anything, as a matter of fact, injury
Yes.
is an injury,
Injury
right?
is an injury.
Yeah.
And you miss out a lot.
Yeah, I know, right. So what kind of moral support or mental support do you give your girls? Like, I know that, and today's age parenting is a lot different, where the parents are a lot involved.
Yes.
And then, everything. Even the kids they look at you as a confidant, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So how do you emotionally help them? And
So I have to be very careful with my words.
right,
I can't say things like, you were so bad today.
right. I know.
I have to say it like, you could have been better.
Right,
You could have done this differently, I
right,
feel.
right. Yeah.
And that's when they'll be receptive. Otherwise, they're going to shut down.
Yeah, but is it okay every time to, put it in I would say in a democratic way or a
No,
diplomatic
there-
way? Are there times when you are just carrot and stick approach to them?
Yes. Like sometimes when Niharika's baskets don't go in,
Right.
I'm like, no, you should have done this better.
Right,
You should have made your points.
right, right,
Right? And I know you can't win always,
right,
but you have to strive to win.
right. I know. Because it's always right from our part to
Yes.
give the right kind of reinforcement, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't always, say it's okay. There are times
Absolutely.
when you have to be stern and when
Yes,
you have
yes.
to, give your point across
Yes,
to them, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. How do you motivate them, when they do well, how do you motivate them? When they don't do well, how do you motivate them? Do you use any kind of rewards, anything
No,
gifts or anything like that?
No,
Or it's just,
I never bribe.
okay, you
I
don't
never
bribe.
bribe.
Okay.
We just talk.
Okay.
Now we laugh about it.
Right.
And actually, when they lose matches, I let them be for a little while
Okay. Or by themselves.
by themselves.
So they can absorb and understand,
they
introspect.
should reflect.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Where they went wrong, what happened.
Right.
And of course, when they win, we're all happy and, we go out
Right.
for a meal.
Right. I know.
Like the whole team always goes to celebrate.
yeah.
And luckily for them, their coach is very supportive
Right.
and she's always encouraging.
Right, I know. That's very good, right?
Yes.
Because when you're dealing with young players and especially in the, women's category, the kind of
Absolutely.
coaching style also differs to a large
Absolutely.
extent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. How about, your family? Do you live, eat, breathe basketball, or, do you is it only you don't talk it at the dining table, you don't talk it at the
Actually, the
dinner.
girls and I are always talking about something related to basketball.
Okay.
So we had recently gone to watch the FIBA World Cup.
Okay.
So after that, like my husband, he's not a big basketball buff,
Right.
but
He's now interested and
he's
passionate
now
about
interested.
it. Right. Right.
Because we talk about it all the time.
Right.
You know, we talk about different tournaments, we talk about the NBA.
Right.
I myself watch all the NBA games.
Right. Right.
So I'm very interested.
Yeah, I know.
And for my kids to be interested, I have to be interested
Of course,
too.
of course. Yeah, I know. Certain amount of involvement from the
Absolutely.
parent is at least, then I think even the child respects you when you know the sport, right?
Yes.
I have so many, I used to take my younger one for tennis, and some of the mothers were from non-sporting background.
Absolutely.
And then the kids, I would hear them say, what do you know about sport, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
I've heard that in basketball.
Right.
So, I mean, I learned.
Yeah.
I asked my children to teach me.
Right. I know.
I'm like, what is this? What is a three-pointer? What foul has he called right now?
Right.
You have to
educating,
learn.
Yeah, educating yourself. Yeah, I know. So, how do you help them to be grounded, right? Like, I know, like Niharika is, moving from strength to strength.
Yes.
And, with her hard work and effort, we are seeing so much amount of progress in her.
Absolutely.
How do you help her to be grounded?
I always remind her and tell her never to forget where she came from.
Right. That's important. Yeah.
I'm like, don't only think of your successes.
Right.
Think of all the failures that got you here.
Right. Right.
I mean, she's also seen a few tough times.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And
I think every player should see that,
yes,
right?
and so has Nilaya.
Right.
But, I just tell them, work so much harder
Right.
that your state team should never think of a team without you.
Right. I know. You should make your mark.
Yes, you should make your
a
mark. You should be fit. You should
Right.
practice your shooting.
Right.
Well, there's no gain without hard work, right?
Yeah, yeah. Nothing is without hard work.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, in conclusion, I would like to ask you this question: what would you tell other parents who are having budding players or who are having upcoming players? What kind of I wouldn't say an advice, but any kind of your perception, or what would you like to tell other parents?
Never put yourself out there,
Okay.
but always be behind your children.
Right.
Whatever sport it may be,
Right.
tennis, swimming, basketball, etc. Be their driving force,
Right.
but silently.
Yeah. I know. Don't make the noise.
Don't make the noise.
Yeah.
Let them do it,
Right.
because they should never think that, oh, it's because of my parents.
Right.
They
Yeah.
should believe it's their own hard work that got them where they are.
Right, I know. Because everything is about them, right?
Yes.
Even after a certain point of time, even the parents are out of the background.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for young athletes, it's always important,
Yes,
right? That
yes.
they know that they have to do it for themselves
Yeah.
and not for the parents, but take the support of parents and
Yes.
for everything.
Parents are always there to support them, but it's their hard work, their drive, their interest
Right,
that will propel them forward.
right. And in this age where, children are so sensitive and they, can get affected by many issues.
Yes.
The parent is always there to talk to them, to guide them, and be like
Absolutely.
a sounding board to
Yes.
help them out.
Like these days, mental illness is so rampant.
Yeah, right.
So you have to talk to them in a way that they understand.
Right, yeah. So I think we've got a very good view and understanding of how it is to, be a parent to young budding players, and what are all the, behind the scenes that happen.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you
I'm
so
so
much,
glad.
Vaishnavi, for having me
Thank
here and
you.
having you and sharing all your
Thank you for having
thoughts.
me.
Yeah, thank you.